Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I first of all want to appreciate the fact that the Honorable Senator Wambua indeed can acknowledge that this particular speech made reference to some commitments which were made, and also those commitments have already been achieved to the benefit of the Kenyans. Mr. Speaker, his option to tell us that last Sunday he was in Rwanda and he also went ahead to confirm the prices is not what has been given in the speech is also something that I can say. I come from an agricultural zone where the prices sometimes even are below that which the president quoted in his speech. Mr. Speaker, I must appreciate the fact that we have had challenges, and this is truly acknowledged in the speech by the president, that indeed when we came into office, we had as much challenges as those which were given in the speech and those which were not given. History will never be forgotten as you push towards achieving the plans that you have. And the frankness in the speech by the president, in the commitments which were made, and the achievements which have been made cannot be ignored. We cannot, Mr. Speaker, say that we have achieved 100% of the promises which were made. That one is acknowledged. But where were we and where we are is something that the speech indeed acknowledged in a number of its provisions. One of which, Mr. Speaker, is the cost of living. Honorable Speaker, the President indeed acknowledged in very many paragraphs. Out of this, I can very well recall that paragraph 15 of 102 speech by the President is where he indeed made specific comments on the efforts the government has done. And it's true, he has acknowledged, my colleague has acknowledged the fact that one of the items that the National Dialogue Committee has given itself to discuss and come out with a proposal on how to deal with is the cost of living. And in that particular speech, Mr. Speaker, it is acknowledged that it is not it's not a one-off thing. It's not something that we can just go across in the shops and buy. A cost of living, or the cost of living is a process. It is something that begins somewhere and takes time. And one of the ways within which the cost of living has been addressed by this administration is on the effort that we have been told in the speech about the agriculture sector. The support with which the government has given is not only towards bringing down the cost of maize. It has gone across. It deals with maize, it deals with milk, where there are efforts to ensure that we add value to the produce from our farmers, and by extension, we will fetch better prices in the market. That same effort is in enlisting the farmers, so that we have a database of who are the people whom we need to reach out to in order to get government support. We acknowledge the fact that not all of us are farmers. Even in this particular house, Mr. Speaker, not all of us can also do the same thing. There are various people with various engagements and commitments where this particular speech acknowledges that those who are in agriculture are supported. Those who are in business are supported. And in this case, there is particular reference to the people in the small sector holdings, where the Hustler Fund, which they have intentionally decided to say it has not helped, is acknowledged. This is an approach that the government made in its campaign to reach out to the small business community. And indeed, the statistics which you were given has confirmed that it is not only the small business people who have borrowed this money, it has gone beyond that. And the second phase of this fund, Mr. Speaker, has equally been alluded to, where instead of reaching out now to the single business entrepreneurs, we've gone to groups where, by extension, we are going to support them by borrowing. This borrowing, Mr. Speaker, touches the business community in two ways. One, by supporting them to enhance their business enterprises, and also the approach which led to the removal of a number of these people from the bureau where they had been listed as non-credit worthy, where somebody is able to borrow a facility. In extension, that particular person will be supporting the business and enhancing his or her credit worthiness. Mr. Speaker, sir, this particular speech gave Kenyans the hope that we gave them in the course of the campaigns. And that particular hope is what keeps us and keeps the Kenyans going in terms of seeing tomorrow and achieving the dreams that they have had. One of the things that we must also not forget, Mr. Speaker, is the independence that this particular administration sought and has indeed provided to independent institutions, one of which was the immediate appointment of the 6 judges. I am a practitioner in the judicial sector, and I know the importance of having to recruit judges and give them their independence. That alone is something that takes justice, not to only those who go to court, but to the rest of the Kenyans. Giving an independent management to the judiciary fund, which is enhanced to 3 billion Kenya shillings, is a very important aspect in building the independence of judiciary, enhancing access to justice, and by extension, it is expanding job opportunities, because by this fund, the judiciary has been given more opportunities to employ. This is what we every day cry. Very many young Kenyans have gone to school, they are reaching out, seeking for opportunities to be employed, and by this fund alone, we create employment to very many Kenyans. Beyond that, Mr. Speaker, the effort in the housing sector, the affordable housing sector, where we have not more than in the period we've been in office, the Kenyans have been given the opportunity to also not only go and get these houses, but it has been an opportunity to create more employment. A good number of my friends who sit in the minority side, Mr. Speaker, have participated in a number of those sessions where the affordable housing programs are being launched. In this way, it is on the one hand enhancing availability of housing, on the other hand, giving Kenyans the opportunity to get employment and also open up for the business community to supply the materials towards this construction, whether it is the fundis who've been trained or the guys who are owners of various hardware facilities. Mr. Speaker, I want to applaud the efforts that this administration has done, and the speech by the president is one of the very honest speeches where he has alluded to the challenges the administration has gone through and the efforts the administration which he leads is pushing in order to make Kenya a better place. And in this way, Mr. Speaker, Kenya is going to be a better place in the near future. As I end, Mr. Speaker, one of the most important things which we can't forget is where a number of Kenyans are unable to also sustain their business enterprises because of the debt bracket that this country has done. The commitment by the government and the commitment by the president that there will be a bullet payment of the outstanding amount in advance is a show of the direction the country is headed to. And I am sure where we are able to make this payment by December as committed by the president in his speech, we are going to be opening up this country so that investors can also have confidence to come across, and also the rest of the world, where we have, by the way, by a number of the visits that the head of state has made, been opening up Kenya for investments globally. Mr. Speaker, I want to applaud and ask that the effort this administration is doing goes towards making Kenya a better place to live in. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity.
Senator Beth Siengo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I raise to differ, to disagree, and refuse the false promises, false hope,